So, welcome everyone. Here we are today with Simon Bicklund because yesterday it came out the new alternative rundown 1 of GTFO, and we wanted to know what's going on. So, hello Simon. Good morning.
Hello. Hello. Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm. So, first of all, the last time we talked, because we have talked quite many times about GTFO from the beginning, just before even the ambassador thing started. So, last time we talked, Team Chambers was growing up, and there were a lot of people coming to the company. So, how is the company now? Are they already working completely? Are they still getting used to how it is Team Chambers?
Yeah. Well, some people joined very recently and are still sort of getting a handle on what it's like working at 10 Chambers.
Mm-hmm.
And they're new and their tasks and sort of their colleagues are new. Everything is new to them, so they're
Mm-hmm.
getting used to it, sort of. But a lot of people have worked here for 18 months now, or at least a year,
Mm-hmm.
and they feel like you know they love it here, and it feels like they've been here forever. Like we even though we ran the company like 8 or 9 guys for
Mm-hmm.
almost over 4 years, maybe five, you know,
Mm-hmm.
before we started growing like this. Now it feels like this is how it's always been, and this is how it's supposed to be, because
Mm-hmm.
we found really good people.
Yeah, perfect. So, so that is good. It seems that Ten Chambers is going well then. But there is something that always catches my attention because it is like you want to make the things just by surprise. For example, when the game launched, it was in with the Geoff event of Games Award was or yes, well, on the year of event, and suddenly was like, yeah, the game is released. It's released, and now we have some info about that we will be able to play the previous rundowns and so. But also, it was yesterday that it came out by surprise. Does the warden wants the prisoners to find all the good things by surprise, or how it goes?
I guess it's a marketing question. I'm not the one to answer that, but it was decided somehow that this should be like sort of uh, we should release some clues about it, and people
Mm-hmm.
could sort of perhaps guess that something was coming, and then suddenly, yeah, it was just out. So it was a surprise release, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah. So I don't know if I'm the right person to answer, but that was the idea, at least. It's as prisoners in the world of GTFO, you're never really in charge, and you're never really in the know. You never really, no one explains to you how things work or why you're doing stuff and when you're supposed to do stuff. It just lands in your lap like a wet fish.
Mm-hmm. In the chat, they are saying that thank you for bringing always such interesting things. Thank you, Chavita. So, okay, but as I said, I have been here since the beginning talking with you about the development, and today it is an important day because this is a quite big change for GTFO. I mean, from the beginning, always was like you have to be in the rundown because if you miss one rundown, you will not get all the information that was on this rundown, and once the rundown is gone, all that info is gone. Now it's going to be other way. Why this change?
Well, it's we've discovered a way to sort of uh, to make it work like we wanted it to work. Obviously, technically, it's been somewhat possible. We have had modders sort of dabble with bringing back old seeds and rundowns before, but as the game developers, we wanted to sort of um, fit the storytelling, and we want to uh, bring the features that were introduced in later rundowns also to the old rundowns, which is makes it a little bit more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've sort of come to a conclusion as to how to do it in the right way. And we're all about under promising and over delivering, which is why we always said like, no, we're never going to do that, and that's not how you play GTFO. And then we sort of turning, doing a 180 and actually just changing it, because we didn't want to imply or give anyone false hopes that it would work in a certain way, and then not delivering on it. So we'd rather say, no, we're never going to do that, and actually, like we did with the bots, we had the same attitude, which the attitude towards bots from us as developers was like, no, we're never going to do that. That doesn't work in GTFO. And then we just, oh, well, now we have bots, we think that might not everyone might love that way of communicating, in the community. But I think it's better, at least, than saying, it's better to say, no, we're not doing it, and then doing it, if it's a positive thing, obviously, like delivering on a feature, no, we're not going to give you that feature, and then you get the feature anyway, rather than saying, you're going to get that feature, and then later on, no, we cut that feature,
If we know a
out of
lot
the
of.
two out of the two, one is better than the other, and I think we're doing it the right way.
Yeah, there are a lot of developers out there that maybe should make something like that before promising so much and giving so much less. But you say that some features of the actual rundown are going back to the alternative rundowns, but there are others that not. For example, we have the boosters in the rundown one, in the alternative rundown one, but we don't have checkpoints. How do you balance those things of bringing back some elements and others not?
Well, those are questions for different departments. It's the checkpoint question, for example, I think is a question for the level designers.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been decided that this is how the rundown one is supposed to be experienced. At least you're getting boosters to sort of help you, which is something that you didn't have in the original version of rundown one. You have bots in case you're a team of less than 4, you can get help from a bot. So there are things that make this iteration of rundown 1, I wouldn't say easier, but less impossible or less hard, than the original iteration. So yeah, as prisoners in Garganta, you have to just be happy with what you got, I guess.
In the last, lately you are making a lot of streams, playing the game and talking about the game. But it seems that you were a bit, I don't know how to say, that you felt sometimes that the most hardcore players are like a bit reluctant to some changes. How do you see the community, for one, in one part, those that are the more hardcore players that want the most difficult experience, and the point of view from the developer of making the game accessible for everyone?
Well, first off, we're not trying to make a game that is accessible to everyone. It is a niche game, so it will always be a little bit too hard for the general sort of public, I believe, of gamers. So that's not the ambition. But there are, of course, even within sort of people who enjoy GTFO, there are levels of how hardcore they are. And we're not trying to cater to the most hardcore people, because then they can decide for themselves if they want to just complete a map and not fire a single gun, and just use the melee weapons. They can limit themselves if they want to have a even tougher challenge than what we offer. But other, you're referring to what I was on the stream yesterday, and I was making fun a little bit of, I know
Yes.
how people in certain communities are like, no, they're Puritans, they want it to be the way it's always been, and they're the ones who discovered the game, and they want to keep it like it was from the beginning. Don't make it more accessible to other people, because I want it to be my experience, the way I found it. And if you're making it more accessible to other people, it doesn't feel as unique to me anymore, and it's not mine. I don't own it as much, so the people who played the original iteration of Rundown 1, the way, I mean, was even harder, I guess, than this version, they will think that, it's a little bit like, when I was a kid, we never got, our father never drove us to school. You're being
Mm-hmm.
spoiled, with all these new flashy features. But when I was young, we had to walk to school or something like that. It's a little
Mm-hmm.
bit like grumpy old players, grumpy old men. And I'm making fun of it, but we love those people as well. But they have to realize we can't design a product that is only catering to those, because it is a vocal minority.
Mm-hmm.
It's very few players, but they love being on the Discord server and on the forums and complaining,
Mm-hmm.
and we just see that as passion for the game, and we really appreciate the passion.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to strike some sort of a balance where, yeah, it's still a hardcore game, but it can't be too hardcore. There's a limit to it.
Yeah, and there is not good that there are so many gatekeepers, because at the end they are like gatekeepers saying no, you can't play
Yeah.
because it is well. So I have here a little picture of the game. It's the new map of the rundowns. Let me change to it. One moment. Beep, 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 beep. This one I will share with you now. Here. So, I have one question, Simon. Does the size matters? I ask it
Right.
because this is the map of the rundowns, okay? And we can see the rundown, alternative rundown 1 and the rundown 7, okay?
Yeah.
The size of the circles are of different sizes, so does the size matters? Does it mean something?
Mm. Isn't that a question for the women? No. Uh, I think that's something to be discovered.
Okay, so we don't have to take some clues from here, or yes, because for example the first rundown has 3 levels and we can see here 1, 2, 3 circles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So nothing to say about it. Okay, okay. So let's see. Okay. Also, in one of those streams that you made, I made one question just at the end because there was Adam with you, so you were the two guys that were making all the thing. So, from the writing point of view, okay, how does this change of being able to go back affect to the writing of GTFO? And will it
Well,
affect in the future for the future?
as I mentioned earlier, we've found a way to bring back the old rundowns, and but continue telling the story,
Mm-hmm.
and make it work somehow, and not just make it a rehash, like the same content again. So you will have to play the game and find the lore and sort of decipher the text logs that you find,
Mm-hmm.
and find out what's going on.
Okay, but for those that has already found the logs of the previous rundowns, it will be the same or?
Well, I mean, there are text logs in the Rundown 1 now. The
Mm-hmm.
original iteration of Rundown 1 did not have any text logs at all, so there's
Mm-hmm.
new content to be found.
Okay, perfect. Um, mm, mm, mm. On this point of the game, okay. What is the hardest part from the development point of view?
Uh, well, it's, I guess, every department has its own challenges. It's difficult for game design to sort of strike the balance between accessible and hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to um, for to keep it optimized. There are different challenges for every department. For us, it's been a challenge to sort of make the story remain interesting, and still have the previous rundowns come back,
Mm-hmm.
which is something we've seen as a challenge, but an exciting challenge, and I think we've done a really good job of sort of solving that. So I don't know what would be a good answer to that question. I'm sorry.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's um, it's different challenges for different departments. But
Mm-hmm.
now, I mean, we're growing as a company. That's a challenge, keeping the culture and making sure that everyone who joins the company feels that they belong and that they like this workplace, and not everyone is working on GTFO, so that's a challenge as well. We have to divide the workforce and the resources that we have between GTFO and our new project.
Or new project, yes, because so there is something new. Okay, I guess that I will not be able to take anything from it, but okay, it's good to know that there is a new project.
Yeah, I can't talk about it, but as Ulf said in an exclusive interview at Gamescom with Enemy, we're back on that heist shit.
Okay, okay. We will leave it here. So now that we are being able to go back to the first rundown,
Yeah.
from your point of view, what has changed for good and for bad from those times of the first rundown to now?
Well, I mean, we were trying stuff out in terms of, the difficulty of the game and the accessibility of the game. Now we have a tutorial that you can play. We have the boosters to sort of alleviate the feeling of, playing the same map over and over again. At least you're getting something by
Mm-hmm.
playing, even if you're failing, you got some boosters that might help you in your next attempt.
Mm-hmm.
We have the bots. There's several different tools that will help you now. Even if we didn't bring checkpoints into Rundown One,
Mm-hmm.
there's still other features um, that makes it less hardcore. So that's been one of the things that we felt like we can do Rundown One, but improve it with these the features that we've introduced after we introduced the first iteration of Rundown One, and we think it makes it a better, slightly more forgiving experience,
Mm-hmm.
without taking away the sense of pride for people who beat it.
Mm-hmm. But there is something that you miss from those old times.
Well, looking back at it, you're looking at the first rundown, and it's like, maybe we're going, we were kicking in the door a little too hard on the first one, released to the public, and making it so, yeah, just so difficult. It was. Now was an opportunity to correct some things. Yes, so
Mm-hmm.
we're really proud of what we did. We were so few guys working on that product, or on the game back then, and now we have a little bit more resources and we can put a little bit more emphasis on some details, which is
Mm-hmm.
nice. So
And
so it's been a great experience actually being able to sort of correct some things.
And how do you feel? Because back then, in the before the all even the ambassador thing and everything, you were looking forward very hard to make this dynamic soundtrack. This music that will change depending of the moment of the game and everything. And lately, you say that you have finally left that because it was very difficult. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, from my personal point of view, that's one of the aspects of the game that I think has improved a lot since the first rundown. Yes, the music, especially the combat music, has been too repetitive, and it's been the same song regardless, same piece of music playing regardless of whether you're being attacked by monsters who just woke up in the room that you're in, or if you triggered a scout, or if it's like a security door that triggers waves of enemies coming towards you. Now there are different songs that play, and they're in a I think more coherent style. Sort of musically, they fit together better, and it's better, more well produced. Sort of it just sounds better, and it's
Mm-hmm.
more. There's more variation within the songs. There are different songs, and so there's variation between different songs, but also within each song, there's more stuff happening, sort of making it more. Um, what's the word, uh, unpredictable when
Mm-hmm.
you're listening to it. Like horror music should be. You shouldn't have like a finished song that you know. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be 4 bars of this, and then there's a drum fill, and then there's a new the melody that plays over 4 bars, and then it changes again. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to predict exactly how the music is playing, because part of horror music is being unpredictable and creating a sense of unease.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, that I
Uh,
think that's a great improvement actually.
mm-hmm. Yeah, because one of the best things about GTFO is that all the universe of GTFO is very consistent. It's very it comes together very well. So, how do you achieve that? How do you make that the gameplay and the art style and everything comes together so well?
I think it was just a product of us being really in line. Um, when we were, it was easier, of course, when we were fewer people. But it's been not too hard to continue being that aligned, even as we've grown as a company, because we had the existing game to look at as a guideline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ulf had a really clear vision for the game design and what tone he wanted for the game, and then that has permeated the storytelling and the visuals and the music and the sounds and animations and everything. And then we've been really, loving. We've been exploring and loving uh, the uh, the element of exploring storytelling, or rather role playing the game, so that it's not a game. Uh, we don't want, as game developers, we don't want to send out like a newsletter like there's going to be an update and it's going to have this new enemy, and here's a picture of that enemy, like a 3D render, because then
Mm-hmm.
it's like us as game developers telling you as players, like, look, we made this fake thing, come play this fake thing. We
Mm-hmm.
want to role play it more, so we want to communicate more like the warden in the game would communicate with the prisoners in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But we use that in our newsletters, so even the marketing has been more like found footage. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we have this picture, we managed to take a picture of this thing, or there's this text log, or there's someone talking about something, and we share these snippets of content from the game, the in world, sort of
Mm-hmm.
like a scientific report of some new monster that is roaming the corridors or something like that. That's much more exciting because it allows you to sort of like almost pretend like you're a prisoner and you're about to uh, encounter this mysterious, like it preserves the mystery around the thing rather
Mm-hmm.
than it being just marketing speech. So that goes into everything. The fact that there's, when you launch the game, you just go into the startup screen of whatever interface it is that keeps sort of the hydrostasis pods that you're in. You know, the interface that runs that is the startup of the game. There's no 10 Chambers logo. There's not even a GTFO logo when you
Mm-hmm.
start the game. You're just thrown straight into it. There's nowhere in the game does it say, you can't see the GTFO logo anywhere in the game GTFO,
Yeah,
which is
you're not playing the game. You are getting into the game.
exactly. And right from the start, when you launch the game from your Steam client, it's like you're transported into this other role-playing sort of. You become the prisoner
Mm-hmm.
in Garganta,
Mm-hmm.
and that goes into everything, the marketing and the storytelling and the game design and everything. It's been really exciting, and we want to keep as much as possible. That works really well for a horror game, but we
Mm-hmm.
think that works for other genres as well, so we're looking forward to sort of exploring that even more in the future.
In the future project that is there. In the chat, they are asking about making the text and the audios in other languages. I guess that it is so expensive, but they ask for it. The possibility to get the text of the logs and everything in other languages like Spanish or like that.
But it's available in other languages, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing in Spanish, isn't the texts machine translated into other
Yeah,
languages?
but they are asking also the audios and everything.
Aha, okay, yeah, that's gonna no. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can.
Yeah, I
It's just
know.
it's such a niche project. It costs a lot to cast voice actors in different languages and recording them, and just GTFO isn't making enough
Mm-hmm.
money,
Yeah.
frankly, to justify the cost it would take. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard to keep maintain the quality as well, because I don't speak Spanish, I don't speak French, I don't speak
Mm-hmm.
German, and then if we would start recording on those languages, I can't be the one to quality check it and make sure
Mm-hmm.
that it's actually good acting or good, sort of that
Yeah.
they strike the right tone, or that they're using words that are interpreted in that language the same way that they're interpreted in English.
Mm-hmm.
So then you would have to start hiring people who are just quality checking
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that so it balloons into a huge cost. And I love the fact that people want it, because
Mm-hmm.
it means that they like the game, they enjoy the game. But unfortunately, I don't think it's realistic that such a niche game has what do you call it, well, localized speech.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and you told that you somehow are role playing the game when you get into the game. So why we can't choose which prisoner are we in each rundown?
uh, well, it's just I guess a way for us to indicate that it's not too important who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also a feeling of being not in control
Mm-hmm.
as a player playing the game. You're not supposed to have your favorite character, and I always want to play Woods, or I always want to play Bishop, or whatever. You can't really control that, and it's not too important who you are. We don't want players getting to the end of the game and being like, I was always Woods, and only interested in Woods' backstory. Um, so we want it to be more chaotic, I guess.
Mm-hmm. It is. I ask it because you are making a lot of good things to make every character special and feels unique. So it was a bit strange.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, I mean, I worked on Payday and the Payday the Heist and Payday 2 before, and we allowed people to like have their favorite. Like I always want to play Chains, and then you could
mm-hmm.
sort of tick a box for Chains being your favorite. But if you join a server where other people have already joined the lobby and someone else is playing Chains, you can't
Mm-hmm.
have Chains anyway. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's you can give the players the option to indicate who they'd like to play, but it doesn't guarantee that they can play that character unless they're always playing with the same group of people and they've decided I'm always Chains, you're always
Mm-hmm.
Woods. Now I'm
You
confusing
enter
characters
first,
from the two
you enter
games.
second, and so you get this one, I get this one.
Yeah,
That.
exactly. You have to divide it between you. Like if you're playing Payday, it would be, there's so many characters in that game now, but we would decided from the get-go for GTFO that we would introduce 4 characters, and those would be the only 4 characters that you had in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that it would be a fight if 2 people want to be Bishop.
Mm-hmm.
Only one can be Bishop. We can't have the voice of Bishop being heard from 2 different characters in the game. That would just be weird.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of even if we introduce the ability to choose a character, it doesn't work 100% of the time, because
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
another player might already have chosen to be the character you want to be on the
Mm-hmm.
server. So it's a little bit like it loses its purpose a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And
That's so we haven't really thought of it as that important, really. And
mm-hmm.
I think it works with the narrative of the game that you're not actually one person.
Mm-hmm. And
And
about
you have to interpret that however you want to.
and talking about Bishop and talking about making things going beyond even the game. There are some secrets outside of the game. There is
Yeah.
certain ways a website there with Bishop related. So we can expect something like that for future rundowns or just for the new project.
No, we will continue communicating and releasing little nuggets of hints at what's to come, and the backstory and the lore in the different ways that we've done before. So you just have to keep. I think that's part of GTFO. It's not just what happens in the game, but it's also like newsletters and SantonianIndustries.com,
yeah.
and the websites and stuff like that. We want to keep doing that stuff because as storytellers, we really love it, having those tools at our disposal, and we want to learn more how people respond to it and how we can use it, because we want to keep doing that for our next title as well.
Mm-hmm. And any new feature that will come to GTFO in the next rundown or so that you are looking forward to see how it works,
But mostly from my perspective, it's the narrative, and we're doing some really cool stuff. I'm not gonna reveal anything, obviously, but it's gonna be really cool. So even if you're a player who played the old rundowns before, it's worth getting back to it because things will not be exactly the same.
Mm-hmm. So I took you so much time. So any last words that you would like to say to the community?
Well, we're just super happy that people, has fallen in love with this weird niche hardcore title that we made, and that it's still, living on the way it does. So you're all awesome for playing our game. We love you.
Oh, thank you very much, Simon, for being here with me. You have GTFO on discount because the new release, so you can go and buy it on Steam. And thank you very much, and we will talk another time. Bye.
Bye.